And it's crazy also because of Bob, I'm able to go to the AEW events, and I like to take people who've never been. And when John Moxley comes out, I'm like, hey, so you know, 1, 2, 3, John Moxley's about to bleed.
Yeah. Yeah, I always tell people that. I'm like, yeah, if you see John Moxley tonight, they're probably going to be using glass. Um, and that's the funny thing because my boss was going to an AEW, my old boss was going to an AEW show. And I was like, oh, you're going? Yeah, John Moxley might be there. If he's there, make sure you're very far away from ringside because they love to use glass. And they had like a 4-on-4 death match.
Mm.
And I was like, yep, yeah, sounds about right.
So what is your favorite thing about being a professional wrestler?
My favorite, there's a lot of things I love about being a professional wrestler. Like, it's just getting to be around the ring and like actually getting to get in the ring is one of the major things because there's a lot of people who I know want to get in the ring, but there's a difference between being a fan in the ring and being a wrestler in the ring.
Yep.
Um, Getting to go on road trips with my friends is a huge part of it because I love just getting to hang out with my friends and just talk to them for hours on end. That's a huge thing. Getting to see people who I haven't seen in forever whenever we go to different states. Um, I don't know. I guess just all of it. Like the entire thing is probably my favorite thing because I never thought I would be a wrestler. Like it's one of those things where people always like when you're a kid, you always say, I'm gonna be a race car driver, I'm gonna be an astronaut, something like that.
Yeah.
And you kind of think it's just words because then when you get to be an adult, you're just like, oh yeah, no, that's a lot of hard work.
Yep.
But I guess I guess it's seeing that I was able to put in the hard work and I'm still here.
Mhm.
But not just that, like it's just all the people who I've met along the way because I've met so many good people in wrestling as well
Yeah.
that have taught me a lot of lessons. Um, I feel like wrestling as a whole has kind of just made me into a better person
Hmm.
because there's a lot of things that in wrestling that I wouldn't say or I wouldn't do beforehand, and now I'm able to be a lot more open and honest with people, I guess. Like if I have like something that I want to say, I'll be like, that doesn't work for me, brother. Like
Yeah.
straight up, like yeah, just like now I'm able to like, say the things because in wrestling, there's a point where if you don't feel comfortable with things, you have to be able to say no. And that's something that
Hmm.
I wasn't okay with at first. And now I can just it's taught me that I have that freedom to be able to say those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never felt pressure to say no to people. Um, because I always gave people the benefit of the doubt. Now, will I go and watch some of their matches before we have to wrestle each other? Of course so. Even when we get directly to the venue and oh yeah, you're wrestling this person. Oh, I am. Okay, cool. I'll go back, watch some of the matches. Like,
Yep.
hey, I know what I'm going to work around. I know what I can do. And if he asks me to do certain moves, I mean, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Like, you have to, for me, also, and this is something that Epic had always told us, hit your move 1,000 times. Like, if there's a certain move that you want to do, practice it 1,000 times. That way,
Yep.
you do it in the real match, you're not going to get somebody hurt. And that's why I never did anything that I've always wanted to do a moonsault, but I never was able to really practice it. So I never did a moonsault. The one time I did practice it, fucked my back up. And that's probably why I'm not wrestling right now. But um well no. I did do moonsaults, but that was my move. Like I would do a moonsault, move out the way. Bam.
I'm not doing no damn moonsault. You got me messed up. Like the most I'll be like move on is like, all right, I'm going for a frog splash move. And I'll eat that because the reason why is because I'm like, I can see how far the ground is from here.
Mhm.
I can gauge that. And I'm like, all right, let me put my hands down now. And I've missed it so many times where I'm like, let me put my hands down now. And I'm already face first in the mat, rolling forward.
Oh no, I was man, because I'm always one. Okay, peer pressure is a real thing. Um, Jesus used to always tell me, "Don't be a little bitch." So I would do stuff, and he would tell me, "Don't be a little bitch" in a positive way. Like, hey,
Yep.
sometimes you just don't need to be afraid. You just need to try it, see how it goes. And that's how it was with the moonsault. I was like, I don't know, I've never done it. Like I could do a backflip at the time I could. And it's like, but I was just afraid. He's like, don't be a little bitch, just do it. Plus, we had a mat. Did it, boom, landed. It's like, oh, that's not that bad. Same with the superplex. Scared out of my mind. Just did it, boom. Oh, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, the first time I ever did a superplex was in a match, and I was like, yeah, let's just go. And I was just like, damn, this is a long way to the ground. I was like, I feel like I've been up here for a while now. And then I hit the ground and I was like, oh, never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind. Oh, that's where my kidneys are.
And then I also going back to like how I take people to AEW a lot. People are always thinking it's like, oh, I knew that it was fake, but I didn't know that it's boards under there and poles. And I'm like, yeah, dog, we don't have like it's not a trampoline.
They'd
It
be like, oh, it's a trampoline. It's bouncy. There's that. I'm like,
it
mm-hmm.
takes away all like most of the energy from our impact. But besides that, that's this much padding and this much wood.
People really are like, oh, why is the ring bounce like that if there's no trampoline in there? And I'm like, because those are separate wooden planks that are going like this
Yeah.
underneath the weight of two human beings. And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, wood moves,
Yep. And then like
wood bounces.
um if we can, we'll stay a little bit longer. Or sometimes if we go to an indie show and I know the promoter, like afterwards we'll stay after, talk to people, and then I'll just show them like, yeah, you see this? All this underneath here?
Yeah.
No trampoline here, buddy. None at all.
I've at establishment, whenever the ring apron isn't on, I'll take pictures of it because I'm like, where can you see a trampoline in here? Where do you see that? Because a lot of people really think that it's a game. They think it's fake, and I'm like, no, this is really dangerous. You land one wrong move and you're you're in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be having a good time.
So tell me about establishment. Cause like I know is that that's DMC, right? Or is that
So it was, and now it's being run by someone else. It's being just taken care of by somebody else for the time being. Um, so with Establishment, it is a company that's based out of Orlando, and it does showcase a lot of the newer talents.
Mhm.
So it's going to be a lot of the House of Champions kids. Then you have some people from, our generation where you have me, Vertigo, Ramos, Ray, um, Jay Silver, who used to be Jaden Jet, who used to be, um, God, he's had so many names. What, Alexander Zave or something like that.
I think I know what you're talking about.
He's been around for a while now. There's been a few people there that come and go. With establishment, it's just they're trying to show that the Florida indie scene is just as important as everywhere else, is basically what it is. And that's why we're putting on these shows. They do two shows every month at the very beginning of the month. And right now we're kind of just we're building the product.
Okay.
So a lot of our guys are, I mean, there are a few that are 10 years and over,
Hmm.
but it's very few and far between because a lot of them are like the newer, younger guys who are trying to prove something, which is why I feel like our product, that product specifically, is going to succeed because everybody's so hungry to, succeed.
Yeah. So I talked to Sage a few months ago, and said that kind of after 2020 there was a lack of like veterans in locker rooms. How do you feel like the veterans are? Is there a kind of a veteran presence now in the locker room, or are you the veteran presence in the locker room?
I'm definitely not the veteran presence in the locker room. Like at the end of the day, it's like I don't like to consider myself a veteran because I'm still in the process of learning.
Hmm.
But if I see something in the locker room, I'll say something. Like if somebody needs help, I'll reach out and I'll be like, "Hey, maybe you should do things this way. This might be a better way of getting to this spot. Hey, maybe you shouldn't move so much when you do that spot because it's not going to look as good as if you just, plant your feet." Just simple critiques. That's where I feel like my line is.
Hmm.
But at the end of the day, I do feel like there is kind of a lack of veterans in the locker room. Like, whereas you used to have the Death Row Jethros, the Vertigos, the Epics, like there's not that many of them anymore. And I feel like that does kind of add to the environment now.
Hmm.
I feel like we do need that veteran presence in a sense where somebody could just be like, "Hey, you're being dumb as hell." Because I feel like there's a lot of just people being dumb as hell right now.
Hmm.
So, and with the veterans, like it was either you listened to them or you got really messed up.
Yeah.
So I feel like we need to go back to those days where you have at least that one person who's that locker room leader who can take charge and be like, "All right," like the Undertaker of the locker room, be
Yeah.
like, "All right, if you're being stupid, you're gonna have to come see me.
Hmm.
If I hear anything about you, you're gonna have to come see me." Like, we really need to get back to those days because people are starting to run off at the mouth and be all sorts. They feeling themselves a little bit too hard.
Hmm. That wasn't happening when we first came in.
No, it was not.
Because we had Lindsay there, we had Epic, we had Jesus.
And they would all look at you and be like, "You stupid."
Yeah, and then have the stiffest slam, the stiffest. I used to hate it when Lindsay would do that his dead fish uh dive. Like he
Yep.
ran down, just boom, my oh my god.
Yep. It's one of those things where I feel like now all of those veterans are either retired or off to doing other things. Like you have Lindsay. Lindsay just does wrestling everywhere. I'm pretty sure Lindsay's back in Evolve for WWE. So,
Think he works as a producer for AAA, which WWE. Because I know
and
I see him at AAA events all the time.
which means Lindsay's making money. So, on that note, like all these guys, they've either retired or they're out here actually making money with other companies now. So it's like I don't know where you find that. Like the only veteran I have now is Vertigo.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
I just interviewed him right before we got on, and he had glowing things. Sorry if you hear this. I'm turning my PlayStation off because it started to piss me off. He had glowing things to say about you and like how you've come up in wrestling. I don't know why you give me that face.
My thing is, shoot, I'm glad it's It's an honor, first of all, to hear that he's talking about me like outside of conversations that we're having. He did a lot of work for it. He did a lot of work to help me. So there was a point in my career where I wouldn't say I was floundering, but I wasn't at the point where I needed to be. I was like steps behind everyone else essentially. Um, and it's just because I wasn't very confident in the ring. So I wrestled Death Row Jethro, and he beat the dog piss out of me. And he was like, "All right, kid, you're getting better. Here's what you need to work on." He told me that. And then he told Vertigo. And the next day, Vertigo was like, "All right, kid, you're wrestling me." And I saw him pull up to the venue in his car, and I see him walking up to the ring, and I'm like, Ray was like, "Yeah, we're working a tag team match tonight." I was like, "No, we're not." He was like, "What do you mean?" And I was like, "That's my opponent for tonight." And he looked over at Vertigo and he goes, "What do you mean?" And I go, "He's gonna ask to wrestle me tonight." And sure enough, he did. And he was like, "All right, so here's what you're going to do. You're gonna do this, 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 this." And then he was like, "You call the rest of the match." And I was like,
Mm,
"Are you sure?" So then we ended up going through calling the match. We had that match. He was like, "Okay, good. Here's what you need to work on." And then I started practicing and training with him for it's going on 2 years now, maybe three.
mhm.
It's been a while now. And then he's just been like, anytime I needed help with something, he'd always just invest his time with me and then help me out with things. So it's a lot of just him putting effort in and just helping me get to the place where I needed to be because he did a lot more work for me than a lot of other people did in wrestling.
Yeah.
And he didn't have to, which is what I really appreciate about that. Um, Especially with his lineage and everything. It's it's something that I've grown to really like appreciate over the past couple years because now I feel a lot more confident. My footing is a lot better. And like when I first started training with him, I was still definitely one of the greener wrestlers.
Mhm.
And I would get like my little bit of recognition here and there and everything. But it's like one of those things where it's like I would have inconsistent matches.
Yeah.
But now it's like every time I leave a match, everybody's like, "Yo, Bobby Chrono matches, Bobby Chrono." I went from being like in the bottom 50 wrestlers to being in the top 10 this year.
Nice.
I went from having no matches of the year to being like every company's putting me in some match of the year in some
Mhm.
capacity, or at least we're getting nominated. So it's like that's just all a testament to the work that he's helped me put in to get to where I need to be.
Okay. Yeah, I love that. Um, who are some of the wrestlers that you are studying right now?
Ooh, so few of the wrestlers I'm studying. All right, so I've been studying like 2005 Samoa Joe
Okay. Not bad at
during
all.
his run in Ring of Honor. Um, Swerve Strickland is a huge wrestler, like a huge inspiration for a lot of the stuff that I do
Mhm.
because he's a really clean wrestler. Like a lot of the stuff he does, it looks vicious,
Mhm.
but at the same time, the way that he moves around to get to these spots, it looks extremely natural. Like he does this one thing where he basically break dances, rolls over his opponent, grabs you, rolls you over, and gets you in a suplex. And I'm like,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
so he's one. Then there's Brian Danielson. Like I've always studied his career from the beginning to like now. Um Marufuji's one that I've been studying for a while.
Mhm.
Like I love now Michi Marufuji. And I mean, how can you not study people like Roman Reigns or Cody Rhodes? Like you have those people, Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, and I put them all in the same category because like it's an aura thing for them.
Mhm.
Like we have the term aura farming now. They're aura farmers.
Yep.
That's it. Like you have to be like an or you have to be like one of them in this business if you want to succeed because at the end of the day, this entire business is all just what's the image that I want to portray, and at the end of the day you want those boos or those cheers, and it all comes from the aura that you're presenting yourself with.
Oh yeah. Um, I know, especially when I was wrestling, Epic had always like watch Dragon Gate, watch Naito. Don't always watch the American style wrestling, which I didn't know a lick of Japanese, but I mean I do watch anime, so I sometimes watch it dubbed. But I'm just sitting there watching Dragon's Gate, and whenever I could, New Japan, I'm just watching. I'm like, I like that spot. I'd be able to rewind it, take my phone, start recording. I'm like, I'm gonna do this. I don't know when I'm gonna do this. I don't know where, but somehow I'm doing this in a match. And every time I was able to put something like that into a match, it got over. And I'm like,
And
mm.
that's the thing with the Japanese style, it's like it's so heavy hitting or fast paced that it's just like you if you're able to incorporate one of those spots properly into your match, it's going to look disgusting. It's going to get a reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a lot of spots that I was stealing from Naito, I was stealing from Okada, Kenny Omega, and I'm just like, if you do these right, you're going to just it's gonna get a reaction.
Yeah,
It's hard not to notice you dropping somebody on their neck.
yeah. Uh, I gave myself a stinger doing a Hurricane Runner, so
Oh, the Hurricane! I thought I'd never be able to do that, but Vertigo was like, "Okay, come in, step in this way, and you'll be good." And I was like, "Are you sure?"
I've done like I hurt myself when someone gave me the Hurricane Runner because like I even tucked my head. I was like, all right, I'm just gonna tuck my head and go through. Somehow I still spiked myself and like I got up. I had to hold on to the ropes because my neck was so heavy. I was like, if I let go of this rope, I will fall face
Yep.
first. And
So that's one thing I learned about the Hurricane Rana. It's not a forward roll. You want to roll off in the direction of your opponent.
mm-hmm,
So like usually they want to come in from the right. So you always want to grab and then just go like that is how I learned to do it. As soon as that person starts to connect, you're just already going. But for me, doing it was always more terrifying than actually, taking the move.
mm-hmm,
And that was one of the things that I was just like, all right, you know what? I'm just gonna have to get over this fear because it was the fact that both of my feet were gonna have to leave the ground
yeah.
at the same time, essentially, and like I have to trust that this person's gonna catch me.
Oh boy, that's like dives. I remember diving out the ring and not being caught.
Oh,
That's
I hated dives. I hated dives for the longest time, but now I'm like, all right, let's do one.
see, and I don't. When I would do a dive, I would just run, front flip over the ropes. It's like all you have to do is just catch me. If you don't, just put your hand up like that, kind of boost me. I can land on my feet. Two people dove out the ring. Nobody called me. Went right through the middle of their hands. It's like, that sucks.
I've had that happen to me a couple times, and I was pissed off. I was like, I'm gonna fight everybody in this match, including Ray. Including Ray. And Ray's looking at me like, "Oh, it's not my fault." And I'm like, you could have caught me too.
Yeah, you could have been there. But that's when I started just going. When I was like, oh, I'm gonna do a dive. I'm just going to the ropes, jump over, and you're just gonna get a splash. That way, I can protect myself because if I'm doing a flip, I don't trust. I didn't trust anybody to protect me.
I just do suicide dives now.
I was always afraid I was gonna get my foot caught on a suicide
You
dive.
just gotta commit. That's what I learned. If you don't commit, you're gonna get caught. If you just full force speed, if you full speed and just run straight into it, you'll make it every time. I've since I've started doing it, I have not missed it.
Knock on wood with that one.
Yeah,
Don't worry, I knocked on it for you.
there we go. I
uh,
was like, since I started doing it, but like before when I first started practicing it, I was afraid, and every time I would be like, let me try it slowly. Let me try it slowly. And that's when your foot's gonna get caught.
yeah, I would always think because I was also, especially on the indies, I was what 225. I'm 300 pounds now, boy, being out of wrestling. But I always felt like because like you said, you got to go just go balls to the wall.
You
And I
gotta
felt
go
like
in.
if I would do that, I would legit run into people. 'Cause-
Oh, I don't care. I don't care. I'm like, if I run into you, it is what it is. Because my whole thing is, I'm like, it's wrestling. It's got to look
yeah,
somewhat real. And plus, how hard can it be for me to? I'm 180 pounds, and when I hit somebody, I know I'm not hitting them that hard when I'm hitting them with a suicide dive. But I know it's going to give you enough force to knock you back. So as long as you brace yourself for that backwards impact, you'll be fine.
see, and then just I think I just didn't have trust in my opponents, so I was like, no, because I was like, I know me, I'm not going out there to hurt people. Some people just, yeah, we're dicks.
Yeah, it's you always have to know you have to gauge your opponent and be like, okay, well, I can do this with this person. I know I'm not going to be able to do with this with this person. There's been so many times where I've been like, yeah, you know what? I'm not going to hit a pile driver tonight.
Hmm.
This person's going to freak out and I'm going to break their neck.
There was one time where I accidentally like hurt somebody, one, two times, a couple times, but not purposely. Like one was on a senton because I would always like just do like this on a senton,
Yeah.
then we bust somebody's nose. Like shit, my bad. And then the other time is I was supposed to miss a clothesline. And what I tell people all the time is like, yo, if I'm going to miss something, I am throwing for the fences. I am kicking for the fences.
Yep.
Duck. I'm not doing this overhand, but no, I'm going straight and I'm just swinging the fuck through. And the person didn't duck like low enough, and I just clocked him. I was like,
I mean, shoot. That's what they told us. They said, hey, if you're in the way, you're going to get hit. It'd be like that.
yeah. So when it comes to wrestling, what do you think is the most challenging part? The physical or the mental?
It's the mental for sure. The physical plays into the mental, but I feel like anybody with a bit of athleticism, if you can get used to the bumps, you can do the physical part of wrestling. It's more so that connecting with the crowd, having that in-ring psychology, being like, okay, let me place this move here so it can make sense. Um, let me go, like it's building matches so that you can keep it on an upward trajectory instead of it being a whole loop-de-loop and pull and then your shoes are looking good type situation. Like you it's a lot for just that portion, but it's also just a lot of mental toughness because in wrestling you're not going to make a lot of money. In wrestling you're going to get discouraged a lot of the time because you're going to be like, okay, well, I'm not being noticed but this person is. In wrestling it's going to be a lot of um having to wrestle at night, then waking up early in the morning and going to work
Mm-hmm.
because you still have bills to pay. It's it's because I know a lot of people who it just doesn't seem worth it after a while. because it's just you have to have that mental toughness to keep going even when you're not making the money, even when you're not getting that notice and all those other things. Because a lot of people they're like, well, I'm not getting noticed, so I quit. I'm not getting paid, so I quit. Or you can either do that or you can be like, well, I'm not getting noticed here, so let me go ahead and take my ass to Georgia or Alabama or South Carolina or North Carolina. Let me start doing the work so I can go ahead and get noticed in these other places, and then that'll trickle back home. So it's just a lot of being able to keep going, which is why it's more of the mental aspect than the physical. With wrestling, you have to be able to dedicate that time. You always have to prioritize everything. Obviously, work comes first because you want to be able to pay your bills, you want to be able to do all that. And then at the same time, if you have an understanding partner, um, they'll be able to support you with your goals and everything. And they're not going to be somebody who gets mad at you because you are out here trying to do something that is important to you. It's one of those things where I try to keep everything kind of separate,
Mhm.
but at the same time, like if I'm in a relationship and I want to spend time with my significant other, I don't feel I don't feel some type of way being like, hey, just come down to the school. I have to practice for a bit, or coming to my matches.